Welcome everybody to episode 6 of Sonic Unleashed Sonic the World Adventure Worldwide and Sonic the World Adventure in Japan. I'm joined by my friend David. Say hello to everybody.
3-1, McCarfor here.
In this episode, we are going to be having a very civil debate. It'll begin with the opening statements. The opening statements will be about whether or not the plan of 2025's Lex Luthor in Superman by James Gunn versus the plan of Lex Luthor Jr. in Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice Ultimate Edition by Zack Snyder was a better plan. David will be representing the side of the Corn Sweat movie, and I will be representing the side of the Cavill movie. The opening statements will be uninterrupted. David, you may go first.
I stand here to defend my client. I'm doing I'm gonna do like 8 attorneys to the for the fun of it. I stand here for my client on why his plan has superior. Because if one right opinion didn't do his plan, it is hands down 100% Lex Luthor. It is methodical. It is logical. Everything he does is both clever and petty, and it matches Lex Luthor to the 100% to the T. It is in far superior than whatever nonsense Jesse Eisenberg Lex Luthor made. So as we go through this, I will thoroughly explain why this plan in 2025 Superman makes much better sense and is more executed better. That's my opening statement.
Very well. My turn for my opening statement. And it's the fact that Jesse Eisenberg's plan makes perfect sense. The motivation makes perfect sense. The character that everyone says is Lex Luthor is not Lex Luthor. Jesse Eisenberg is playing Lex Luthor Jr., his kid. Because in the world of the Snyderverse, Lex Luthor is dead before the story begins. And furthermore, I would like to say that this plan was a lot more intelligent than the plan of the Superman 2025 Lex Luthor. I will go into the actual methods behind this plan. Furthermore, my opponent and I, during the deliberation, will be arguing with each other quite vigorously. We promise to keep things civil. And I will put him in choke points simply because I know where all of his plans fall apart, and I'm willing to bet he has no idea where Lex Luthor's plans fall apart in the Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice movie. That is my opening statement. So, first opening argument, David, you pick it.
Alright.
We can interrupt here.
Right, and talk about the motive for this plan. In 2025, Lex Luthor's motive and motivation for the plan was to not only gain control of the country of I can't forget the name.
It's Jorhanpur and Boravia.
Yeah, Boravia, no, but Jorhanpur, that's the one I'm talking about.
Jorhanpur.
His plan, it had him siding along the president of Borovia so that he would gain a part of Germanport to own as his own, as a new Blacktopia, I believe it was called. And this plan, this plan is a two birds one stone plan. But not only would he gain new land and gain control of the country, but he will also take down and oh god, my tongue. And slander the name of Superman, who he despises. Because people.
Why does he hate Superman?
Because in here he's saying with Superman we have no reason to grow. He does not like Superman for what he is, because if he's here to help us, there was no reason for humanity to grow, to expand himself, because we have a superhuman like Superman, and it is that point that he despises. He despises what he is because he's not human. So people may think of it as xenophobia, and while that could be partly true, his main factor is that as long as Superman exists, humanity cannot prosper. And so in enacting his plan, he will not only take out Superman's world, take out Superman, make him an enemy to the humanity, but he will also gain land and power, which is what Lex Luthor is always about. And he does this through methodological
Hold on, quick
way.
Interruption. Lex Luthor being about gaining land and power, while that is true of many Lex Luthor incarnations after the 70s, most notably with the Richard Donner movies, where he wanted to gain part of California by causing an earthquake. Famously, the original Lex Luthor from the comics did not give a shit about that. He just wanted Superman dead, but please continue.
Okay, well, yeah, the original comics is true, but this is, as we discussed, sometimes interpretation don't follow the comic, and this one is an example of that, and it doesn't well, because he still wants to kill Superman, but he also has another reason for it. He will gain power both with land, but also in the political world because of his army, his Skyforce, it was called.
Okay, so what
And-
was his plan?
Well, it was simple. First, he made. Oh my god, my tongue. 1 second. I need some water.
Go ahead.
Okay. His plan included creating the Raptors in an army of soldiers built with slated and new flying equipment that he made, and then he helped create the Engineer, a super soldier with the ability to control nanotech to basically make anything. And then his best creation was Ultraman, which revealed to be a clone of Superman completely under his command. So already he has something to battle with Superman. He has something that's strong as him that follows his orders.
Why only make one clone?
Say again?
Why only make one clone? At no point in the movie does it ever state that he could only make one.
Maybe not, but it never quite stated why. But this is just personal belief. But I believe he only makes the one clone because it's even with a clone Superman, it's still Superman. He will not want more of them.
Furthermore, if he is able to make a clone like the Ultraman, that is capable of besting Superman, as we saw in the opening scene of the movie, where he landed in this case it's Antarctica instead of the North Pole. It's once again the South Pole, so that's another change from the comics, but that's besides the point. Why didn't he just have the hammer of Baravia kill Superman right there? Why let him run away?
Well, the point is because there wouldn't be no killing Superman, there would not help at all. The people still like Superman. They still love them. In order for it to work, Superman's name needed to be slandered. He did not have that yet until after he broke into the Fortress of Solitude. Only then when he was able to slander Superman, turn the road against him. And even then, the reason he didn't kill him was because he wanted more information. But also, he was still, despite what he does, he's still under the ties of the government. He couldn't kill him just yet until he faced trial.
That's actually not true. He wasn't working with the government directly yet. That happens later in the movie. Furthermore, at no point, even after they incarcerate Superman, do they ever demand he stands trial. Please continue.
Okay, I guess I may remember that part.
The stand trial thing is from Batman vs Superman. That's not from the other movie.
My mistake. But point is, at the time, King Superman was not the best. King Superman at the time was not the best. He needed to wait until the right time, which was when he got the full message of Superman's parents and explained, show the world why he was truly sent there.
Hold on, you're skipping a bit. How was Ultraman able to defeat Superman?
Oh, all right. This one you complained about, but it makes perfect sense. Because at this point, Superman has been acting for 3 years, and Lex Luthor has used those 3 years to study Superman, study how he attacks, how he moves, and make thousands of plans and simulations just to counter them, which he uses for Ultraman, like in the chessboard moves with like commands and such. And through his intellect, he's able to know how Superman will act and how to counter it specifically. And that is how the Hammer of Brave was able to beat Superman, because Lex Luthor knew exactly what Superman would do and used the right command to counter him.
How were these commands given to Ultraman?
Through the game through a headset.
Was it through a headset? Was that confirmed?
Well, I mean, it had to be. As we see later, when the cameras are destroyed by the crypto, he's unable to communicate with Ultraman.
Then what that would indicate is that the cameras are how he's given the orders, not the headset.
Okay, headset. But the point is, Lex Luthor is speaking, and Ultraman is hearing, and that's how he gets the command.
So you're telling me that the Superman himself couldn't hear these commands ahead of time, if he has super hearing?
Apparently not.
Okay. So the Superman in this movie, according to you, probably has less of a super hearing element. Let's accept that for the sake of this argument per se. But you're telling me that the Superman is.
I mean, to be fair, we'll have to rewatch it again. But I don't think there's any instance of Superman having super hearing at this point in the movie. We don't really see him use it. I could be mistaken.
I would have to rewatch it a third time then, because I actually don't remember if he does or doesn't have super hearing in this movie either. No, he does!
Yeah,
because when Lex Luthor, he mumbles into his cup and he goes, "The ugly dog with the black cape," and Superman does know what he said. He said, "The ugly dog with the red cape."
Oh.
So, no, he does have an instance of super hearing.
Okay. I suppose that counts.
Okay, so, but let's assume that Lex Luthor made the greatest technology of all time, complete noise cancellation headset that not even the Superman is able to hear. Question. You're telling me that Lex Luthor, saying an order, would travel fast enough, because remember that these characters move at the speed of sound, considering that the trip from Baravia all the way to to the South Pole takes 3 minutes. So these guys are approaching the speed of light. They're not at the speed of light, but they are definitely approaching it. You're telling me that he's able to input commands fast enough for beings who can move at approaching the speed of light levels of speed, yet he's able to say it fast enough, and the sound travels fast enough that he's able to outmaneuver Superman in that time frame without any issues, without any input delay, and that the Ultraman himself is also able to compute these commands and move accordingly. All without the Superman picking up on any patterns, without him never noticing the cameras, despite the fact that he sees the cameras in all the fights, but he never does anything about those. So his battle acumen is quite low in this story, let's assume that, but he's been here for 3 years, so I don't think that's the case. He does know how to fight. In fact, he's very confident in fights when he's not fighting the Ultraman in this movie. So you're telling me that these beings that move faster than the speed of sound can't react to Lex Luthor, who's talking at the speed of sound, and as such, he is able to completely outclass the Superman in this fist fight. Is this what you're trying to argue?
Yes.
How?
Well, the most easy point would be is Lex Luthor. Yeah, he does it just because. But you want a more rational explanation. The simple thing is, we only see him give commands at real time because the camera works. But really, it could just be Lex Luthor is giving the commands in advance because, as we said, he already knows what Superman will do. He already knows it. So he doesn't need to see what he's gonna do. He just knows what's gonna happen. Just says commands in advance.
But the question there is, when he's saying 1A, 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 he's not predicting that motion. He's already put that in action. And even if he's predicting those attacks in command, you're telling me that the Superman doesn't adapt when we know for a fact that he does know how to adapt to fighting styles changing?
Well, he did adapt. Clearly, Lex Luthor had over 3,000 combinations.
He said 2,500.
2,500, my bad. Even if he did adapt, Lex Luthor has something to adapt to as well.
But the issue here is the matter of speed. The speed of sound doesn't travel fast enough to outmaneuver the Superman or the Ultraman. That's the issue I have with that.
As I said, aside from 1A, he was just predicting and saying them in advance. It only looks like he's saying it in real time because it's a camera cinematics. So it only looks that to us.
Except you're forgetting something. You get to see the cameras while he's giving the commands in the movie. You can see that he's watching the fights in real time.
Well, it could be like Luthor talking about with how genius he is. The fact that he was able to make a parallel world and portals. It could be he made cameras and audio connections that were able to react to the speed of light.
So then his own point is also disproven, considering the fact that he said humanity has no need to evolve if there is a Superman. Yet Lex Luthor is demonstrating that that's completely moot because he's creating feats that are stronger than anything the Superman does in that movie. He created the Ultraman.
Here's the thing though, if that's where you're wrong, he's creating them. He's a human is creating them. So yes. Human is still evolving.
Yes, but his whole speech was that humans don't evolve because there is a Superman. That's what you said in the argument.
Yeah, exactly. Now he's getting rid of Superman. He's evolving to get rid of Superman. Humanity can evolve.
Yes, but you said earlier in the debate that humans don't evolve because there is a Superman. That is your words.
That's what he's saying that's what Lex Luthor believes.
But he's disproving himself because he himself is evolving, despite the fact that Superman exists.
Because he's Lex Luthor. He's different from the main. He's not talking about himself. When it comes to talking about humanity.
But Lex Luthor is human, according to you.
Yes, but oh my god, you made the point.
No,
well,
I'm trying
to. I know exactly what I said, but Lex Luthor believes that as long as Superman exists, humanity cannot evolve, and therefore he's taking it on his mission to get rid of Superman. So he himself is evolving, but he wasn't including himself in that. He was still evolved even if Superman was around, and now he want to get rid of Superman so the rest of humanity can.
Okay. Was there ever a point in that movie where that was shown to be the case, where humans just stagnated simply because a Superman existed?
He did give a whole speech about that before the whole 1A.
What's the speech?
I don't know what for. I gotta reward it. I gotta rewatch it.
Okay, what's the gist of the speech?
Well, I just told you. What he said? He despised Superman because with him, there was no point for humanity to become stagnant. I really don't understand what you're missing here.
What I'm missing is that Lex Luthor's own plan already throws into a contradiction his speech that he gives to Superman.
It really doesn't. I don't know where you get it does.
Because we have the Hawk Girl, we have the Guy Gardner, we have Mr. Terrific. I'm assuming these three are humans, is this correct? And we've seen that they're creating advancements in technology, especially Mr. Terrific doing things that not even Superman could do.
Well, Hawk Girl's debatable by human, depending on her origin, but yeah.
And this one she has retractable wings. They're not attached to her to my knowledge. So the technology for the Hawk Girl suit is pretty cool. I'm gonna be honest. I like the idea of the Hawk Girl suit. Oh shit.
Here's the thing though. Mr. Terrific, Guy Gardner, and Hawk Girl, they're good, but they're not Superman. We didn't see about the whole thing in the movie. Superman's on a whole different level. What he does is completely different. In the hero taking inspiration. Superman himself is an inspiration to humans, and that's why Lex Luthor is probably him most of all. Because people will follow people will follow Superman. If they follow him, well, what's the point of humanity? The Justice King does not concern him at all because they don't fit the mold as Superman does.
Well, I know that they changed the backstory, but the idea was they follow Superman because he will help them to accomplish things. He will be a guiding figure. That's why they sent him their only son. Although I'm not gonna lie, James Gunn turning the L's to freaking Viltrumites was crazy.
Apparently it was actually like that how good in like the Man of Steel in Smallville. Apparently that's how it was in Smallville too.
Fair enough, but is this another movie where James Gunn makes the biological parents evil? Goddamn, James Gunn, do you have an issue? No, I'm serious though. Does he?
Yeah, I got what you mean. We got this. Then there was Guardian of the Galaxy too.
Yeah. We got the Suicide Squad, where like 3 of the cast members were abused by their fathers in the story.
Yeah.
We have Peacemaker, where the main bad guy of season 1 was a racist father. Come on, guys. James Gunn, get some new material, please. Anyway, but that's besides the point. Okay. So, you really, in your heart of hearts, believe that Lex Luthor is so good that his speech, despite traveling at the speed of sound, is able to outmatch and outwit the Superman who is fighting an enemy, the Ultraman, both of which are capable of approaching the speed of light travel.
Yes.
How do you justify that? Because you can say prediction, but prediction doesn't account for the speed difference. How do you justify the speed difference?
I already said why. This is technology by it's not simple technology. This is technology made by Lex Luthor. It's clear his stuff is more advanced, able to react to that stuff more than standard cameras and communication.
But how does he get around the speed of sound limit?
I just said his equipment can react to that, can speak like that.
Is it ever said anywhere that that's the case?
Maybe no, but also it said it isn't. It's believable. You can because considering all the stuff Lex Luthor has made, that is believable.
Well, you gotta remember that this is a Lex Luthor that is brand new. We know a few things. He's made a pocket dimension, which I would also like to say is absolutely ridiculous. He really just said, "Oh yeah, we replicated the Big Bang." Was a crazy sentence, by the way.
You forget that Luthor's always been a genius ever since.
I'm not forgetting that, but the thing is, this universe hasn't been established yet. We have one movie to go off of. I'm not counting comic book feats. I'm not counting the animated series. I'm not counting a TV show. I'm only going off this movie.
Well, then according to that logic, we don't have enough information, but it's believable Lex Luthor has always been a prodigy.
Yes, we can agree on this.
So,
but let's move past this point. Outside of the fact that we still have no in-movie explanation for how he beats the sound barrier, but let's assume he does. Keep going with his plan.
Well, as we said, the plan at that point, after he slandered Superman's name, first with Ultraman, he was able to get past the Fortress of Solitude defenses and break in, get information he needs, and even steal crypto. After that, he broadcasted the message to the whole world, slandering Superman's name, which will I don't know if he planned it. I don't know if this one was planned or not, but then Superman broke into his office, demanding for crypto and making himself look like a madman, which taking his word away from the people. Eventually Superman was like there was enough guilty, he would turn himself in. Except for going to the government, Lex Luthor takes it upon himself to arrest him and lock him up into the parallel world, where he uses the help of the Element Man, aka Metamorpho, to trap Superman with kryptonite.
Okay, right here. Superman's name is slandered, so his requirement of needing Superman to be disliked by the people has already been fulfilled. And we know that Metamorpho is able to use kryptonite. At this moment, considering that the Ultraman is there, why not kill Superman right then and there once he's in the parallel dimension? No one will know.
As we saw after, Superman was still learning. As we saw when we went to the parallel world, he still had Crypto alive and was studying him. But he said after he was done, he was gonna put him down.
No,
it's the same with Superman. But I believe in the next scene after he's trapped, he literally gets someone that Superman has met and cares about, and uses him to interrogate Superman.
But what's the need of the interrogation? He's already caught Superman.
Well, clearly there's still more about Superman he wants to know about. He wants to learn about his biology. He wants to learn more about Kryptonian, at least as he asked.
But he already has Superman's DNA. He created Ultraman. What does he need to learn about Superman's biology at this point? Well, he also knows that the Kryptonians are weak to kryptonite.
Well, I'm not quite sure, but clearly he still wants to know. He still wants to learn more, which is why he didn't kill him yet.
But learn what?
I don't fully know. But the point is the fact that he didn't kill him. We clearly see why he doesn't kill him yet, because we see he's still asking questions.
What
So
question
clearly
did
he
he
has a
ask?
reason. Who sent him? What are his goals?
He already has that information though from the footage.
Apparently, he still wants to know more. Like, one of the questions he asked was who was the one who raised him or something.
Well, the reason he wants to
won't-
learn that is to threaten him, but he already has Superman there.
Well, yeah, but now he needs people to threaten him with so he can talk.
But his plan is to kill Superman after vilifying him in the public. That's his stated plan. Even you said that. So why not
Yeah,
kill him
was
here?
that is his end game plan, but he still needs. He'll get to killing once he gets everything he needs.
What else does he need? And if you say more information, well then, can you elaborate on what this more information is? Because right now, it just sounds like you're speculating, which is an, in my opinion,
Look,
argument, which isn't good.
here's the problem. Here's the problem. You have an advantage here because you were able to rewatch it. I haven't yet, so you have the advantage. At this point, I'm just like anything I say would just be just what you just argue about because apparently it's not enough for you.
Well, that's what a
When
civil
really,
debate is.
when really it should already be explained enough. He needs to know why he needs to know. We don't know. But the fact that he needs to know stuff. Therefore, he doesn't kill Superman.
But what does he need to know? Because at no point
Why
in
do
the
we
movie...
need to know what he needs to know? So
Why do we need to know? So that we understand why he doesn't just kill Superman right there. What is so important?
Look, the point is he needs information. That's why he doesn't kill him. That was the question. Why doesn't he kill Superman? He didn't want information.
And then I'm asking you a follow-up question.
Asking about what he wants to know. That's a completely different topic.
Well, it's about his plan, okay? We need to understand the logistics of his plan. The whole debate here is to understand why the plan does or doesn't make sense.
I don't know how you don't understand. I understand it. Clearly, you don't either.
I understand the movie. The problem is that the movie doesn't do a good enough job.
It's a perfectly good job.
This movie does well if you're not thinking about it, but once you sit down and think about the movie, it starts to fall apart.
I don't know. I really doesn't. His plan makes perfect sense. I understand perfectly why he wants to do Superman. I understand why he keeps them alive.
Anyhow, we'll continue the next part. Holy shit.
The next episode, all you.
I haven't even gone into Eisenberg. Yeah, okay, I'll take the next episode then. Have a nice day, everybody.